Okay, hello everybody. So, I wanted to do a segment and or video here in regards to some of the things that I was doing today during the second day. Well, today's technically the first day of E3 2014, but for everyone it technically is day 2 because yesterday with all the big press conferences, that's usually considered the first day of E3. But anyway, I'm not at E3. I'm at home. Even if I were offered to go to E3 this year, I would not have went because I'm too busy with my move across the country. I'm moving out of Connecticut and moving to the state of Washington. But anyway, I myself was busy with 3 different E3 related things today. And there's also a few odds and ends that I want to talk about in a segment here so that you are in the know on what's going on in regards to some of the stuff that was announced yesterday at E3. Kind of a follow-up, okay? So the first thing I want to follow up on is that yesterday, if you were watching the EA press conference, they announced live that there was going to be a game called Battlefield Hardline. It's basically Battlefield 4 gameplay, but in a cops versus robbers setting, a very different game mode than what Battlefield 4 is really about, and that this is a new game coming out, in a few months. And yeah, it is a $60 retail release, which a lot of people were wondering, is it a full? Yeah, it is. It's a full retail release. But that there was a beta for this game being released live right then and there for PS4, and if you registered, you could get a code to play it on the PC. Unfortunately, I was not able to be a part of the PS4 beta because in order to get it, you needed to keep your Battlefield 4 install data on your console, and through that menu in the install data, you could have accessed this new beta. I don't have that anymore because, first of all, EA never said they would ever offer anything like this, so why would I keep it, right? Number 2, I've been playing a lot of games on my PS4 recently, and I had to clear out some hard drive space in order to make sure that I could fit them all, and because of that, Battlefield 4 was the one to go. So I kind of got asked out of the deal, and I'll be honest, I was a little upset because why are you giving stuff away like this and not telling anyone you will? I compare this to, if you remember correctly, there was a Resident Evil 6 demo, and the only way that you could play the demo was if you had kept, I forget what it was, you had to keep something from Capcom from previously in the year. I think it was like the Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City, something from that. You had to keep it the whole year in order to qualify for this demo. Now, I didn't know that, right? I think you had to keep the Operation Raccoon City disc or something, was the technical terms of it. I didn't know that. It was written in some microscopic fucking fine print somewhere in line 17 of 32 in a tiny paragraph on a piece of paper somewhere that you needed to keep the game disc in order to have the demo. Bottom line was you didn't need the fucking game disc because you could just download the demo. That's what would happen. You put the game disc in and the demo would download off the internet. It was a ploy to get you to not trade in a bad game. Okay? So, in this case, it was Dragon's Dogma, everyone's saying. Dragon's Dogma. Okay. So in that case, it wasn't a bad game. It was just an old game. A ploy not to have to trade in an old game. In this case, EA never even said this would ever happen. So why would you keep your install data on your PS4? It's just such a bizarre thing, right? So anyway, I couldn't get access to that beta. I was going to register online to try to get into the PC beta, but the website was crashing constantly when I went to do it. I said, you know what, forget it. It's too much trouble. I've got other stuff I can do this week, and I kind of let it alone, okay? Well, all of a sudden, overnight, last night, late night too, relatively late at night, I got an email from Twitch TV, and they said, hey Phil, guess what? Since you're one of our top partners, or at least we consider you one of the more popular partners in our partnered channels on Twitch, we have decided to send you this exclusive beta code to get into the PC beta of Battlefield Hardline. And I was like, holy shit, this could totally throw a monkey wrench into my plans for Tuesday because I want to try this. So I went to download it. I did. It has to run through Origin, which is a huge pain in the ass. Origin is EA's client that's similar to Steam, but it's only for EA-related games. And it's a major hassle to get to work. You can't even boot the game without going through a web browser. It's really fucking bizarre. But anyway, I got it set up last night. I was very late at night. I went to sleep. I wake up today. I said, that's it. I want to do this. I want to check out this beta. I'm very interested. How is Hardline? So I decided to do a stream of it. I go to do it. The thing will not run at a playable frames per second on my PC, period. Now, keep in mind, my PC was built in 2011, and even back then in 2011, it wasn't considered top of the line. It was more middle range back then. Now it's basically a dinosaur. I'm using a graphics card that's ancient, you know. So this thing, even on lowest settings, even with the lowest resolution possible, I turned off, you know, all kinds of effects and everything, motion blur, still runs like shit. So after about, you know, hour, or I say about 45 minutes of trying to get this to fucking work, it didn't work, and I gave up. So if you want to see that footage, it's pretty bad. It's just, at one point, I downgrade the detail to everything that looks like it's 8-bit pixelated. It's hilarious. You can check that out on DSPGaming. I uploaded those videos today. So I kind of gave up on that again, like a second time. Forget it. Well, guess what? All of a sudden, a viewer contacted me on Twitter. I think his name was Clucky D. I'm not 100%. But he said, I have a code. I don't have a PS4. I'll give it to you. I said, wow. And he did. He sent it to me, and I'm proud to say I do have it now on my PS4, the Hardline beta. And tomorrow, which is Wednesday, on my second gaming stream, I'm going to be checking it out. So even though we had a fail today, tomorrow we'll be able to actually check out Battlefield Hardline and see what it is, okay? Alrighty. Now, what else did I do today? Well, as that was a failure, I got word from someone. They said, Phil, were you aware that this game called Entwined, that was part of the Sony press conference the night before, was the very first time the game had even been announced, were you aware that it's for sale already? You could buy it right now on PSN. And I said, no. And I was thinking in my head, boy, what a different kind of a world we live in now, where literally a day can be announced the day before, game can be announced the day before, excuse me, and then a day later you can buy the game and play it. Like, I came from an era when you had months of speculation, what's coming out, when's it coming out, gaming magazines covering things a year, 2 years in advance before the games would ever come out, right? Now it's like instant. It was freaking instant. I couldn't believe it. So I said, you know what? I can't stop burping, by the way, excuse me. I said, you know what? I'm going to check out this game. I'm going to see what this game is all about. So first of all, so everyone knows, this game, now, is it Entwisted? Not Entwisted. Not Entangled. What the fuck's the name of the game? Hold on. I can't remember the name of it. It's right here on my PC. Entwined. Entwined. Boy, I had that wrong. Entwisted? Entwined. Boy, okay. So Entwined, sorry everyone, I've said it 1,000 times now to reinforce it. Entwined is a game. It's a unique, artistic kind of game. I've never played a game anything like it before. At the same time, I don't know if I needed to. And why I say that is, first of all, it's $10 on PSN, and it's a PS4 exclusive. So you can only get it if you own a PS4. It's supposed to be the story of a fish and a bird that supposedly through multiple lives have fallen in love and want to be together, but they can't be together. I don't know how the hell they got that from what this game is. Here's what it is. On one side of the screen, you got this big fucking orange blob thingy. On the other side of the screen, you got this big, you know, shapely blue thingy. And you actually use, let me grab the controller and I'll show you. You use your PS4 controller. Each character is a thumbstick, okay? And what you have is a circle in the middle of the screen, and you'll have the fish on one side and the bird on the other. So here they are. And as you move your thumbsticks around, you control where they are in this circle, okay? So if you're holding your thumbstick down into the, you know, to that direction, and this one up into this direction, or you can move them around. Now, they cannot break past each other's sides. So there's like an invisible wall in the middle of this circle where they cannot break past. But you can do things like combine them. You can have them go down all together or up together. Or you could have them go around at different times. Now, what happens is there's 9 stages, and in each stage you'll see from this circle in the background, so where my face is, imagine my face is a colored block. So, I don't know, so if this is orange, my face is colored orange, it's getting closer and closer and closer to the camera. You need to align your character with the orange blotch, and when it hits, it'll pass through, okay? And then you don't get hurt. If you don't do it, it considers you fucked up, you got hurt, okay? Now, also while this is happening, there's little spheres of colors that match your two guys. You have to collect the spheres and line up your guys with the blotches that are coming at you. If you screw up, you lose energy. There's 2 energy bars at the top of the screen that you're trying to fill up with the spheres, and it depletes itself if you're getting hit or you're not lining up with the blotches. Once you both max your energy bars on both sides, you press 2 buttons together, and now the goal is to be completely synced and don't make a mistake at all for a limited period of time. And if you do, the 2 things fuse together and become, they say it's a dragon. It looks like a green bird, right? Oh, so now you're the green bird, and you fly all around like this. I know it looks like I'm doing camp puppets. You fly all around the game, collecting more sphere power-ups until finally you can shoot out shit out of your ass. I'm not even kidding. You fly around creating trails in the air out of your asshole, and you create something, I don't even know what it is, and then you pass the stage. You get a trophy, and you go on to the next stage. Now, the game can be incredibly simple, but also can be incredibly difficult. On stage 2, I very quickly found out that my reaction time with my thumbs is very different. My left thumb is very fast, and probably when you think about it, because when you're playing games, the left thumbstick is the one that you're using to look around, to move, right? You're constantly using your left thumb. Your right thumb, not so much. Yeah, you'll use it to, it changes your sight, but it doesn't physically move your body, so you may not be using this as much. I would say I'd use this more than I use this when I'm playing video games. So what I found is that the left side I was getting everything, and the right side I was making all these mistakes, and it was very frustrating. But I finally did get the hang of it. I beat it. Here's my main gripe with the game. The game's gorgeous, first of all. The music's good. Oh, it's artistic, okay? But I have to say this, there seems to be this big string of games now that are being made by these indie studios that are games being made for the sake of, ooh, it's a pretty piece of art, instead of it's actually a fun game, okay? If anything, Entwined is a game that is more about an artistic vision and expression of art than, say, any kind of gameplay challenge whatsoever. The game is challenging, but once you get the hang of it, it can become just kind of your there's not a lot to it. And the main gripe that most people will have with this game, it's not even an hour and a half long. I beat it in 7 videos. So $10 for 70 minutes of gameplay. I mean, you got to really weigh and balance your priorities here with that. And is there any replayability? The only replayability, there's a challenge mode where you replay certain stages, and if you beat them with a certain criteria, like, oh, you did it this many, you collected this many or whatever, and you didn't screw up, then it'll unlock a new stage, and there's like 5 of those. But really, once you beat the game once, you know exactly what you're doing. There's no reason to ever go back to it. $10 for 70 minutes. You know what I mean? And this is where I'm saying, did they make the game because they wanted to actually make a fun video game? Or did they make the game because they wanted to try to make some kind of an artistic expression? And I think this is going to become, I'll be honest, a slippery slope where you're going to have these people making games that aren't really games. They're games that are just for, oh, I want it to be pretty. Well, big deal. If I want to go see something pretty, I'll spend $10. I'll go to the Natural History Museum or the Art Museum down the street, or in New York City or any major city in the United States, and I'll spend for 4 hours, I'll be going through their museum looking at works of art. I don't need to pay $10 for an interactive $10 silly little, 70-minute thing. Now, of course, there will be people, I'm sure, that will disagree with me staunchly and say, no, Phil, it's an artistic game and you're not getting it. Whatever. I played it. I'm not saying I didn't like it either. I actually did like the time that I spent with it, but for that was just such a quick game. They could have definitely put more effort into that and made it, longer game and put more content into it. But so that's what Entwined is. The playthrough is live right now on YouTube. Basically, everyone watched one video and said, what the hell is this? And they didn't watch the rest of it, which I expected fully. Who knows if I'll even make my $10 back for the damn thing, but I wanted to play it because I saw it on E3 and I thought it would be interesting, okay? Now, the third thing that I did today, which was quite interesting, this one, I said, out of all the stuff I did today, this piqued my interest the most. A fan contacted me again. I have to say thank you. You guys have been real great to me, and you guys are really being nice to me this week, that's for sure, with all the stuff that you're giving me so I could test it out and share my feelings with everyone. So I want to say thank you to anyone who offered or did give me something, because a few people did offer. Offered and gave me a PS Now code. Now, for those of you who don't know, PS Now is the new on-demand service that PlayStation, or I'm sorry, that Sony talked about a year ago at E3. It's going to be going live in a couple of months. Right now, this is a beta that you can enjoy if you get into it, okay? So I tried it, and what you got to do is you download this app, the PS Now app. When you get inside the app, there's a listing of 20 games that are currently available. The way it works is that you pick a game, and you get an option to either rent it for a single day, 7 days, or 30 days. After 30 days, that's it. Your time is up with that game. You have to relinquish it, okay? And it works by basically you just saying, you pick one, it'll test your internet connection to make sure that your internet connection is up to snuff. It'll buffer for about 20 to 30 seconds to give you a little bit of a data buffer, because keep in mind, this is all on-demand streaming. This is not actually saving the game physically to your hard drive before you play it. It's streaming the data, okay? And then the game will start up. So you might say, well, initially, what kind of games are on there? Well, there was, I know there's a Ben 10 multiverse game. There was a ton of indie games. I mean, a lot of indie games were on there from the PS3 that are already available right now. I'd actually say the two most notable games were the two that I decided to try. Eat Lead, Matt Hazard Returns, which is a parody shooter game from a few years back that I did not play because it looked terrible, and also Dead Island Riptide, the semi-sequel, and I say that because it was not a sequel. It was basically just should have been an expansion DLC pack for Dead Island that was released a year ago. So the first thing I noticed when I boot, I said, let's try this Matt Hazard game. I've never even played this before. Let's give it a whirl. I booted up, and the first thing I noticed, just sitting on the title screen, I noticed it doesn't look as crisp and as clear as if you were actually playing the physical game on a PS3. And what I mean by that is right now you guys are seeing me on stream, okay? Imagine if I was streaming at a low bit rate. What would happen is my face, what you're seeing on my face, you see lighting, you see shadows. I'm looking at my face right now, lighting, shadows, and such. Imagine if it didn't look like that. Imagine if it was like pixelated where the lighting differentiated. Or imagine if I looked blotchy. Okay, like the colors are washed out, they're not detailed. That's what the game looked like. It didn't look like, 720p what it was supposed to be. It looks like it almost looks like you're watching a slightly lower quality stream of the game that you're trying to play. Almost as if I had a PS4 somewhere across the country. It was streaming the gameplay over the internet, and I was using my controller to play that PS4. And what I mean by that is it's delayed. There's actually a significant delay between when you press your button and when anything happens. So I was going like this, and then of course, so it's a shooter game, okay? I press the button, boom. It would literally be that much delay. Press the button, boom. And I was like, whoa, like that is really delayed. What the heck is this? And like I said, it doesn't look very good either. The sound sounded great. The sound actually sounded perfect, like you were playing the game in person, right? But I was very, very surprised at the delay that was there, significant input delay. Now, I want to be completely transparent with you guys, okay? I have an internet connection right now that has the ability to download up to 80 megabits per second, upload up to 30 megabits per second. I was not live streaming. I was not downloading, nor was I uploading anything during the time period that I was doing the PS Now beta. So I don't want to get anyone misconceptions that, oh, well, maybe it was delayed and it looked bad because, he was uploading videos at the time, or was he streaming the thing? No, I was actually offline. I was, you know what I mean? I was only doing that. That was the only thing being done with my internet at the time, and it was bad. It was pretty bad. So then, after playing, I played Matt Hazard for like a half an hour, and it looked about the same. Like I said, washed out, not as detailed, a little bit of pixelization, and delay. So then I said, okay, I'm going to try Dead Island Riptide, and that was probably a joke. The game booted. Of course, there's 7,000 cutscenes. I'm going blah, 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 blah. Finally gets to the game. I go, okay, well, what was the melee? Oh, that's this. So I click in the thumbstick. Like a half second later, finally, the character kicks, and I'm like, this is unplayable. It was hilarious. You go, and then finally the character would move. That much of a delay. So again, I'll do it again. Okay, now the character moves. It's like you can't play a game where you need reaction time to stuff going on around you with a half second of delay. Now, I'm sorry, I'm surprised at this, and the reason I'm mainly surprised at this, I had the OnLive console. You guys remember years ago, OnLive literally did the same thing that Sony's trying to do right now? I had it. And that console did not have that delay. However, with that console had tons of problems with buffering. It would constantly play for 5 minutes, buffer, 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 buffer. In its defense, PS Now did none of that. Zero. Did not buffer once. But it seemed like there was a trade-off. So it's not buffering, but it's delayed, and it doesn't look as good as if you actually own the physical copy of the game. Okay? And again, one last thing I want to clarify for everyone. There's actually a test thing in the app, in the PS Now app, where you can run a test, and the test will tell you, is your internet good enough to do this? And it said absolutely. It said you are 100% good to go. So I have fast download speed, fast upload speed, wasn't doing anything else with my internet. The test ran fine, cleared, said I was good to go, yet I still had significant delay, and the graphics didn't look as good. And the thing that really gets me, excuse me, the thing that really gets me about this is they announced last night at the Sony press conference that one of the biggest things they're going to put on this as a free game on PS Now when it launches, Ultra Street Fighter 4, Earth to Sony. That game's impossible to play with any lag. I know, because I try to play it right now on their normal game, and it lags like crazy. Imagine out trying to play a fighting game with a half a second of input delay and then extra latency added for multiplayer. You might as well just fucking go play in a tub of Jell-O, because that's how fast you're going to be getting reactions out of that game. I mean, it's a joke that they're actually thinking of putting that game on there. So I don't know. That's my personal experience. Yours may be different. That was my personal experience with PS Now at this moment. Okay, keep in mind it is still in beta. There's a chance that Sony might improve it and make it better. For me, it does not seem like a service that I'm going to be able to take advantage of because, for whatever reason, it was delayed and I didn't like it. Okay? All right, and then finally, the one real last thing that I want to talk about, because I actually on my Twitter feed I noticed this today. Alex Valle, who is a pro fighting game player, they consider him one of the oldest ones, one of the guys that's been around since the 90s, is at E3, and he actually had a chance to play Mortal Kombat 10, and he said this is something interesting that was not discussed at all in the trailer yesterday, but when you pick your character, there's 3 completely different fighting styles that you can select for that character. So you pick Scorpion, but then it says, do you want to do this version of Scorpion, or this version of Scorpion? And then when you make your pick, Scorpion is different. He fights differently, may even have different special moves. So I don't know what that is. I mean, I'm just reiterating what Valle said on Twitter. That seems like that may be a very interesting mechanic for when the game comes out to give a variety of gameplay. But then again, is NetherRealm going to do enough of a job that, let's say, there's not one definitive one out of the 3 that's way better, and you just want to use that in every situation, and the other 2 are worthless, okay? I don't know, but this is what's being discovered at E3. This is the kind of stuff to all week, this news, as people are getting their hands on the new games. News will be coming out about this kind of stuff. So if I get the word on anything else, I'll definitely relay that to you guys, but I just thought that was an interesting snippet that I would share with you, okay? Excuse me. Okay, so that's it for this kind of day 2 generalized recap of what I've been doing at E3. Quite honestly, unless there's a ton of news that comes out tomorrow, that's like great, amazing stuff that I need to talk about, this is probably going to be my final E3 coverage video, because I will just probably talk about anything further in my weekly podcast, Hate Live, that I will be having this Thursday on my second stream, which starts roughly around 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, okay? So I want to say thank you to you guys for all of the recaps and everything that I've done, all right? If you've been following along, thank you very much, whether it was on stream or on YouTube. What I'm about to do right now, I am going to do one final video about E3. It's going to be my reactions to what you guys tell me on stream, because as you know, if you're watching this on YouTube, I actually live stream this, and there is a stream of over 800 people right now watching. What I'd like to do is I'll take a quick break and come back, and for about 30 minutes, I would like to take things that you learned about E3 today. We can talk about them. I'll read the stream chat, and I'll give you my thoughts or my reactions to things that maybe you found out about E3 today, all right? So I'm going to end this video. Thanks a lot for watching. If you're interested in that segment, if you're on Twitch, just stick around. If you're on YouTube, check it out, because it's going to be uploaded next, okay, everyone? Thanks a lot, and I'll see you for that. Thanks for following along with my E3 coverage. I hope to see you later. Peace.